people can be okay to hear this. From 3 years old, I was sexually abused by my dad. When I was 7, my Upa that I spoke about before raped me. They instead got together when I was 13 and decided to torture me. So everything that he did no longer affected me. I just have always had this part of me that's just like, no, I'll find a way. This is why some people heal and other people don't.
Wow.
I had to really sit with, okay, what does justice look like? Did I actually change the past, or did I just change my perception of the past? Who I am now is because I've healed all of those things. I've become the version of me that's healed, and everything that I've changed in her and implanted in her is who I've become. So if your subconscious beliefs are, I'm strong and I'm powerful, you're going to experience and project that and see that in the world.
Can we spend the next couple minutes and can you show us what you do to get people into theta?
Yeah, sure. I'll give you my tricks.
Is it something that you've delved into? Like, you read any books?
Yeah.
Quantum physics?
Yeah. So I have a certification that I teach people how to become a therapist or a healer, mostly to work with trauma, but work with any level of people suffering. So it's working with the subconscious, working with processing memories, energetics, and somatics. So working with the body and the nervous system, but it's blending it all together. So I've studied for the last 15 years, just been next level obsessed with healing and how all of these things work. And then about 6 years ago, I launched the certification. So I've always understood energy and energetics, but the whole what we're actually doing in a session, I don't know why it's just started to, I think it was this post that I saw on Instagram, and it was talking about how they've now studied and looked at they proved that if you manipulated a cell in the present, it affected it in the past, and they could measure it. And so I started to think about what we were doing in sessions with people when we were going into past memories and healing things on an energetic level. And I'm like, are we actually time traveling?
Are you talking about the butterfly effect? Is
yes, that reel that I was talking about. Yeah,
cool. And when you say the word healing, personally, I go straight to spiritual. What is what in your opinion is the fundamentals to healing?
Yeah, well, I think healing is to make whole again. If you think about, or to repair or make whole again. So if you cut yourself, you're healing, but it's not spiritual. It's just your cells doing what they need to do to heal the cut. I feel the same thing with emotional wounds. When I think about a trigger, it's linking back to a trauma, and a trauma is an open memory. So it's kind of like an open wound. So there's a recipe, in my opinion, to close it off and to repair it. So I don't think healing there is a spiritual element, because I was just talking about time travel and quantum physics, but there is a spiritual element to it, but it really at its core is repair.
Yeah. So what would be the fundamental, physical, spiritual, what would be the fundamentals? As in, what would you work on with someone? Say I came to you and, I've got some deep childhood traumas. What would be the practice?
What would I do?
What would you do? Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea is that we want to process the memory, so that, because I guess when a memory is open, or when a trauma is a trauma, it's essentially this memory that every time you're reminded of it, whether it be a sound, a smell, a location, even just if it's a relational trauma, so it's something that happened with a parent, a partner could say something that makes you feel the same way that the parent made you feel. When that happens and you get triggered, it's almost like you're being transported back in time. I think everyone can relate to being triggered and acting out and then thinking, why did I act like that later? And so the idea for me is to repair it, so that the trigger is removed. And the way that I do that is we go into the memory. So we go back into the memory. So step one is that I would say to you, okay, what's the memory that you have that keeps coming up, or what's the trigger? And I would get you into a theta brainwave, which is the brainwave that you go into when you go into hypnosis. So I'd get you to go into that brainwave through a number of steps. Laying down, I'd get you to close your eyes and we'd put you into that brainwave. I also would go into the brainwave too. So this is where a lot of people who practice don't realize that me actually tapping into the theta brainwave means that I have access to the quantum field, and that when I'm letting that guide me in the session as to where to go and what to do, but I also feel I can actually feel if I say something to someone what do you think is causing you the most suffering at the moment? I will know if they're lying, or I'll be able to feel if there's something they're not saying. I can pick up everything when I've tapped into that. So I tap into it. I tap them into it. They close their eyes. And normally prior to that, they've told me I'm either having flashbacks or I'm having issues with this memory just keeps coming back to me, or I had this one trauma and I just can't move past it. So I take them straight back into it. So I get them to imagine that they're going back into that moment and they're putting themselves in it so they can feel it, see it, they're in it. And when you're in a hypnotic state or in the theta brainwave, it actually feels like you're there. So they will start to have the emotions come up. They'll start to panic. They'll start to get sweaty. Sometimes they'll want to open their eyes and come out of it, depending on how traumatic it is. But I'll take them back into it, calm them down. And if they have that response, I'll regulate their nervous system at the same time so that they can start to pair this memory with a feeling of safety and with regulation. And then I guide them through. This is such a long-winded explanation.
It's
really good.
It's actually great.
Yeah. So I guide them through the steps of, so if it's a child, like if they're a child in the memory, even if they're an adult or a young adult, I would get them then to bring the version of them now into the memory. So they come into the memory and they look around and they see it from a new perspective because they're stepping into it. So I'm literally saying, step into this memory, have a look around. Now, what do you notice? Like, how's that child? Is that child afraid? Are they scared? And they will be looking at it from this new lens. But I ask them, what do you want to do? And what they want to do every time is what they didn't get to do as a child. So I say to them, what do you want to do? And it might be, scream at this parent and tell them to fuck off because they couldn't do that as a 5-year-old. Or it might be they want to push them. They want to physically hurt them, or, and that's also fine. It's whatever they feel like they didn't get to do. Sometimes they just want to grab them and run. So they might scoop them up and I'll get them to take them somewhere else, find a safe place. Then they have this conversation, whether it's with the person that's abusing them or just with their younger self. And they have this conversation and they tell them all the things that they want them to know and believe, and, it's not your fault, whatever it is that comes out. All of this is done out loud, because if we think about like NLP, or we think about once you're in this brainwave, it's very easy to sort of visualize and imagine things. It's a very different thing when you're saying it out loud while you're in that brainwave. It's like it's just magic. It's like pairing this access to the quantum and this like more spiritual visual side with your body, because your body wanted to say the words. And there's a lot of memory that's implicit that's actually stored in the body and not just in the mind. Like there was this whole like movement of mind-body connection, but there's actually like this huge mind-body disconnection where you can process memories visually and your body can still think that you're stuck there. So we want to include the body. So everything is done out loud. Oh, that was a lot of speaking. Then everything is done out loud. And then once we've gone through and we've done what we need to do in order for that child to say what they want to say, do what they want to do, throughout this process, I'll be saying to them, how does your body want to move? Do you want to stamp your feet? Do you want to shake your hands? Like, what does your body want to do now that you're in this safe place? Or what does your body want to do at different points, especially if I can see them starting to tense up, clench, hold on, maybe shake. I'll prompt them to get their body involved as well. And once we've got them to the safe place, whilst they're having this conversation and they're like, fuck you, you didn't protect me and I hate you, and, saying all of these things, I'm writing down what they're saying and listening out for keywords. A lot of the time they'll be saying things like, you made me feel like I was nothing, worthless, pathetic. I'm writing all these words down because I know that they're subconscious beliefs that person's now created about themselves from that moment. That's why they're saying it. So after we've processed the memory, when we come out, they're still in hypnosis, but they come back out of the memory. I regulate their nervous system, and then we go through and we shift those beliefs. And the way that we do that is I've got steps that I take them through that they can visualize that belief is leaving them. But then I also, and this is the energetic part, I also, again, close my eyes, tap in, and I actually can see it leaving them. I watch it leave them, and I know when it's gone. And when I see it go, like I do it without doing it, but when I see it go, at the same time, they'll be like, it's gone. And I'm like, yep, it's gone. And we just go through remove all of those subconscious beliefs, and then we replace them with positive, uplifting beliefs, regulate their nervous system again and get them to open their eyes. And they're normally like, what? What was that? But it's
That's amazing.
It's really detailed, but it's simple.
Mm.
Like it makes sense. Like if you know about healing, if you've done your own research, when I say it, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like but no one is really doing it to that level. There's plenty of people I found that are doing energetics or subconscious work or memory processing like EMDR or regulating the nervous system or breath work or somatics. But they're doing them all separately.
Yeah.
And I studied them all separately over 15 years and was like, hold on a minute. This is why some people heal and other people don't, because we're supposed to do all of that together. Like they're all valid, but they need to be all together. So that was sort of like how, like I had this like light bulb moment and started practicing with people, and the results were just like, it started as just like a fun side project for $50, and in the first year I saw 400 people.
Wow.
So by referral,
That's
Instagram wasn't
insane.
even a thing.
Wow, that's so cool.
So it's
And when you first started practicing with people in that first year, how long or how many sessions did someone need for it to take effect?
It depends on how many traumas they have. So
it's a session per trauma.
No, so we can do like 4 or 5, but it depends on the person and the type of trauma. Like some people will get into the memory and I'll be like, say what you want to say. And they're like, I can't speak. I'm frozen. And there's a coaching process of like, I would then get them to imagine that they have like a shrink ray gun and they would point it at them and shrink the person down so then they can speak to them. Sometimes they still can't. So then I adapt and work with, and so sometimes it can take a bit longer for someone who's really terrified of that person to sort of go through those blocks, if you will. So sometimes we might get 2 done and 5 beliefs in a session, and sometimes I might get 6 memories and 20 beliefs done, just depending on how quickly the person, and some people have panic attacks mid-session and they want to open their eyes and stop because their body and brain is like too scary, don't want to go there. So we have to like regulate and bring them back in. And I always continue because I often find that if people have a panic attack and they stop, then they're going to be even more terrified of healing next time. So I do push them to keep going and to actually process it and come out the other side so they know that they can. But yeah, basically the way that I say it is if there's a couple of traumas or, just someone struggling with low confidence or something, and there's, a couple of clear indicators and moments or memories where that could trace back to, it's 1 session and you're done. Wow. But if someone's been like has a history like me, they're going to need like maybe 10, 15 sessions over a good 12 months, but it's still not lifetime. Like I have people that have the most horrific backgrounds you can think of. And after 3 or 4 sessions, they're like, I've still got stuff to work on, but I'm feeling really good about it. And they've come from like, I'm suicidal. I can't live anymore. I'm just not coping.
Yeah, and you're constantly dealing with people that are on a low vibrational frequency and coming to you with trauma. Is there something that you need to do to protect your own energy? And have you ever taken on some of that, or have you learned along the years to kind of battle
skill.
that?
I think it took me a few years. Like I did take on, I would notice that I'd know that I was sort of carrying someone if I was thinking about them frequently. They'd pop into my mind all the time. I was like, oh, okay, I'm carrying them. I kind of did get used to it. There was only a few people that really shook me and kind of still to this day would like their trauma is just like haunts you. But I think I learned the way that I reframed it was that when they leave me, they leave better than they came. And so I can let them go knowing that they're leaving better than they came and that they know exactly where to come if they need help. So that was kind of like what I downloaded into my own mind. And I think knowing that I was doing good and that they were having such big shifts and transformations, I could like sort of let them go in peace.
Yeah.
And it really helped. But I've built the business now to the point where I have 5 women who work for me in a clinic like that I've trained up really well, and they see most of my clients now. So I only see some like small high level clients and they see them for me. So I've also kind of removed myself from doing it all day, every day, because that starts to really, I don't think you can do it all day, every day and not have
Can't be good for you.
Not so much carrying their stuff, but it starts to, because I'm in my subconscious too, so I'm very open and susceptible. And if I'm hearing abuse, cheating, rape, cheating, like that's what I start to see in the world. So I started to realize that that's probably not where I need to be. Out in my subconscious every day.
I feel like if I watch the news for 4 minutes, my whole day's out of whack.
Yeah,
So,
imagine
like,
sitting watching the news all day. Yeah.
Can't imagine listening
So
to people's
mad.
traumas all the time and not being able to, get my energy where I want it to be. So yeah, it's a smart move.
I think knowing that you like framing it as I'm not taking it on, I'm helping them release it and it's going out into the field and neither of us are carrying it anymore.
Yeah, I think the beautiful part of it is you're serving people and that's your purpose. And so yes, you are listening to their traumas, but you're also helping people. So it's kind of like a beautiful thing coming out of it. Although you are hearing dark things, you're at the other side of it. You're creating light, which is beautiful.
And when you have that conviction of like, I know that if somebody brings me something, I will fix it in that session and they won't have flashbacks anymore and that will be closed off and complete and done, it feels a bit easier because you're like, well, it's done. It's gone. They don't have that anymore. I don't need to worry about them.
Yeah.
Like with traditional thinking, something I've been thinking about a lot lately is like spirits, like other spirits haunting people or being there. Is that like a thing or not really?
So random that you asked me that. That's so random because I was thinking along the same lines. So I went and saw a psychic medium the other week and I have like my Opa, who was Hungarian, my grandfather, was a really bad man, like really, really bad man, evil man. But I was just like, I wonder if since he's died, he's like sorry and shit. So I was like, I'm going to ask the medium if she can like tap into that. And she actually said to me, I just said like, is there anyone there? And it's a family member. And she's like, is it your grandfather? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, was he like a bad person? Yeah. And she goes, he's not on this realm. She said people that have those really dark souls are almost like that their energy is magnetized and they're actually not able to access people that are in the world. She said that they go with like-minded energies and they learn their karma. It kind of sounds like hell. But like they learn their karma and they're attracted to these other negative energies and they can't access people that are on this in this field or something like that.
In this field, but like is there people that like on the universe that are closer to that vibration
that they can tap into? Well, that's what I was thinking. I didn't ask her about it. But then I was like, I wonder if evil people that are like at that frequency actually can be contacted by them, which would make sense because they probably have like this, it's fueling this negativity if they've got these negative spirits around them. But she basically said that they can't access. She said they can't access you. He can't access you. He's somewhere that doesn't have access to that. And I was like,
So then the negative spirits are just like other spirits, like other spiritual entities in a sense, that they're not actually humans that have existed.
Well, he was a human that existed, but
but as in like just natural evil spirits, like day-to-day negative vibrations. Or is there no evil spirits? That's the whole point of the question.
Well, that's what I was thinking too, because I was like, if everything is a part of the field, then how is there a part of the field that can't be accessed? Do you know what I mean? Like if quantum physics has proven that everything is connected and that it's no beginning and no end and it's one field, how can is he like stuck in some part of the field, but all the field's connected? So how can he not access me?
I feel like he can access like what you said, people that are a closer vibration. Like if I'm listening to Nova and I'm tuned into Nova, like that's what I'm tuned into.
Yes.
So anything that's on the same frequency can tap in.
Yes.
So he's obviously like tapping into like a different frequency.
Yeah.
If I squeeze an apple,
I think I'm going to get this
apple
medium onto the podcast.
Yeah, I know.
Nut this out.
I've been like really deep, not really deep, but like I've been thinking about like Chat GPT. I asked Chat random question. I was like, are there spirits around me? And it said yes. And I know it's Chat GPT, but I was just asking the conversation. I said, are there spirits around me? And it said yes. And I said, do they influence my decision making? And it said yes. And I know it's Chat, but I'm like, I do feel it. I do feel like there are spirits around us influencing our decisions. And then it's about like raising your vibration, making sure you're listening to good things, eating good things, doing all the things that are right for your vibration. And then you cannot attract the evil because you're not in the same frequency.
You don't have it in your
frequency. You don't have it in your frequency. So you notice when I don't know, like personally, but when I'm deep in work and I start eating bad, I stop training, I stop meditating, I stop praying, bad shit starts to happen. Like, not terrible, but like you're just like, I'll get the parking fine, or you start to just. And then when you're on the high frequency waves, where you're doing all the things you know you need to do, you're meditating, you're training, you're eating right, good things start to happen. So I feel like it's all part and parcel.
Definitely, that's like the law of attraction.
The law of attraction.
But like, I guess from the field perspective, I was thinking like, technically everything is connected in the field. So that's where I was kind of like, how can they not access?
No one's gonna really know.
No one's gonna ever really
maybe
know.
Joe Dispenza knows.
Maybe Joe Dispenza knows.
Hey, can we, because you've mentioned your grandpa and your past, can we like rewind the clock massively and like get to know you?
Yeah, for sure.
Like
what do you want to know?
Just tell us your life story from childhood.
Oh, yeah. I mean, how much detail? It's lots.
as far as you'd like to take it. It's up to you. Yeah, just I guess, whatever you're comfortable with.
In a nutshell, because I guess I'll tell you in a nutshell, and then you can sort of, because there's probably going to be some questions that you've got. There's a lot of questions that people on Instagram have, so I'm sure you'll have some questions. So basically, from 3 years old, I was sexually abused by my dad, and when I was all throughout childhood.
Your real father?
My real father, yeah. And then when I was 7, my upa that I spoke about before raped me. So he was quite abusive to my dad. And
they're on the same side?
That's same side. Dad's dad. Yeah. Mum's side is beautiful, but dad's side not so much. So mum and dad, it started before they broke up, but they broke up when I was around that 7 years old. And it sort of got worse from there. I have memories all the way up until about 12 of him doing things, making me do things. It's quite frequent. I only have one memory with my upa of the rape, and that was I was actually protecting my sister. I heard him going into my sister's room and tried to protect her and screamed out his name so that he would come to me instead of her. I'm the oldest. It was just quite protective. So that was only the one time there with him. But when I was a bit older, when I was about 12, 13, after it had stopped. So my dad and upa had like a really bad relationship, as you can imagine. So my upa was actually like, family died in the Holocaust, came over in a boat, like just so much trauma himself. They had a really bad relationship, and he'd left our life for a while after I was 7 years old. And when he came back, when I was like 12 or 13, I was really afraid. So I told my dad, look, this is what upa did to me when I was 7. He raped me, thinking my dad might protect me. And instead my dad went and told him, look, I don't know how that conversation went down, but they instead got together when I was 13 and decided to torture me. So like sadistic torture, like I can go into it, but like it's, pretty intense. And then after that, I just thought that if I spoke about it, I was going to die. So I didn't speak about it. And over the years, I learned ways to forget it. I developed dissociative identity disorder, split multiple personalities, and just then struggled all throughout my teens and 20s with PTSD, depression, anxiety, suicidal. I just thought it's funny because I wouldn't have said I was suicidal, but because I just thought everyone thought about dying all day, every day. I just thought that was what everyone was doing. So it was the 90s and 2000s, so it wasn't as spoken about as it is now. And then when I was about 20, my dad raped me as well one night. Which was, again, just horrific. And then
was there any what happened from the time at 12 to 20? Like, was there?
He got a partner. He's not with her anymore. She was beautiful, and it stopped. Like I just had a normal, pretended that I had a normal relationship. So
you still seeing him like everything was normal.
Yeah. So it was later diagnosed as Stockholm syndrome. So because he had been doing it from such a young age, I had almost like, and it sounds so messed up, but I had almost like a romantic connection with him. And I believed that I needed him to survive and that I needed his love. And I became obsessive, like,
and just
him.
Naturally you're his daughter. So that's,
so there is like there's like a father-daughter love, but then it was like, it was like a really intense trauma bond as well. So it was like, I was terrified of him. Like, he also threatened to kill me all the time, like from 5 years old. I have one memory of him coming into my bedroom at night, holding a pillow over my face until I, like, felt like I couldn't breathe, and then taking it off and holding it on again and saying, "This is where I'll bury you, in the backyard, if you ever tell anybody." So he was like so terrifying, but I also just so badly wanted him to love me. I was just always doing anything I could to make him try and love me. But he was, he's psychotic. He was critical. He was, he would buy my sister presents and get her to open them in front of me so that I would feel like nothing. And everything I would say, he would, why do you talk like that, and stand up straight and do this, and you're too skinny, or you got this. Like, he was just always picking me apart. So I just kept trying to mold and try and get him to love me. And it wasn't until I was 30, so 6 years ago, that I cut him out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
and it was that was a slippery slope downward too, because
you said it started at 3 and then mum and dad split up at around when you were 7.
Yeah.
Was mum aware of it at all?
No, that's the most common question. Like, everyone's like, how could your mum not know? But, if you can imagine, he was like that as a dad, what he was like as a husband. Like, he was just, and my mum's a really sensitive, shy sort of person, and he was constantly criticizing her, cheating on her, domestic violence. She was terrified of him. And so I think she was just dissociated. She just didn't see anything, didn't notice anything, was just kind of in survival herself. And she believed me as soon as I told her. And since...
At what age did you tell her?
30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I told a couple of people when I was younger, but yeah.
I'm really, really, really sorry that all happened.
Thank you.
And honestly, like, I have energy just like, whoa, it's really...
Yeah, it's a lot. That's why I was like...
And I'm really sorry.
No, it's cool.
When did you get into helping people with trauma? Was it at 30?
So when I was 20.
Oh,
so
wow. So
I went to my first ever healing when I was like around 19.
For yourself?
For myself.
Yeah, but what about when did you start helping others?
Yeah, I started helping others. Oh, so I started studying at 20, and then I started helping at, my son River would have been 2, so 6 years ago.
So how was
7 years ago.
How was 20 to 30?
Yeah.
How was that? Oh, really?
Really bad. And this is that perfect example of you were talking about, the energy. Like, I didn't know, I was learning about quantum physics and energy and thinking I was sort of, doing all the right things, but I had all of this inside of me, and I was just magnetizing more and more trauma, like a horrific relationships, a really bad relationship with my ex-husband, disease. Like, I contracted Lyme disease. I had this like rare condition where I grew a tumor instead of a baby when I thought I was pregnant, and like just all of these things that are just like, could the universe stop? Like, I just didn't know why it kept happening. And I think, it just got worse and worse.
How did you break it? Like, what was that point where you just...
Have you, and sorry to just...
No, go.
And when you're talking about it, are you feeling like fully healed from it, or is it still hard to talk about?
No, I think I'm more concerned now about like, are people going to be okay to hear this? But when I think about it, it's just like, that was shit. But like, it doesn't really feel like it happened to me. That makes sense. Like, it kind of just feels like that was part of the journey.
Yeah, cool.
But I think there was never a moment, but I kind of remember, and this is going to sound a bit funny, but like when I was younger, I always had this feeling of like, I'm special. There's like something I've got to do, something big that I've got to do. And my mum was like, I think everyone feels like that, honey. But I was like, no, there's a mission, and I don't know what it is, but there's a mission. Yeah. And the way that I kind of got through was I used to always just say to myself, just one more day. Like, you can kill yourself tomorrow, which sounds so morbid, but it was just like, just one more day. You can get through just one more day. And I kind of got through that way. But I think the pivotal moment where it was like, all right, this is not like, we're not going to just like live like this forever was at that 30 years old, because I'd done 10 years of study. Like, I knew what I needed to do and I'd done a lot of it, but there was just these like few memories that I was like, I just don't want to do that. I'm not going to go there. And I just made the decision to go all in and to actually start to heal it. And
do you think the word forgiveness comes through to mind. Do you think that forgiveness plays a big part in healing? Is it like, do you need to forgive everything that happened?
Yeah, I think I always say to my clients, there's forgiveness and acceptance. And I think that forgiveness is for the people who, if someone takes accountability and says to you, I shouldn't have done that to you, I think that those people do deserve forgiveness. If someone can own what they've done and how it's affected you and they genuinely are sorry, forgiveness. And for the other people who continue to deny and to say that didn't happen and I didn't do anything, and, you have to come to accept it.
Yeah.
And I although I say that to my clients, I do feel like I have forgiven my dad. I just feel like I went on a deep dive into his family history and understanding what he sort of had been through to get to the point where he could do those things.
Yeah.
And I actually do understand it.
Yeah.
Is the forgiveness in the heal? Is the healing
Part of it.
Yeah, isn't that what it is? Like if you hadn't forgiven if you didn't have that forgiving energy towards your father, do you think you would be healed?
No, because I think the opposite of forgiveness, like you'd still carry hate and you'd still carry frustration and negativity, and you do have to be able to release it.
Do most, like when someone comes out of a session, do you feel like they've forgiven the person, or are they more open to it?
I think
through the healing?
Forgiveness is like something that, like it's a technique that I do specifically. And I think you have to work up to it, because I don't think you can forgive when you still have open traumatic memories.
Yeah.
Because you try to forgive that, but then you're kind of sucked back into the past. And so it's a process of like, I never actually sat down and was like, okay, I forgive you. It was just like everything that he did no longer affected me. And once it no longer affected me, I was like, oh, he probably went through so much suffering to be the kind of person to do that. I feel sad for him and I feel empathetic for him.
Yeah.
And I forgive him and I understand it. So it was kind of, but you have to do that first. Some people, this is that whole spiritual bypassing. Some people are like, just forgive them, just forgive, just let it go. And it's like every time that person does something tiny that triggers you, you're back into a rage and you hate them because you've just tried to skip it. You actually have to process the things that they did first.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
we've had about 30 guests on the show, and every single guest has come in, and most of them have spoke about adversity.
Yeah.
And this is probably like a really, really deep one. And every single time, and I don't know if you're going to agree with this, but we say that we come up to the conclusion that every time we have adversity, looking back, it ends up being like the thing that makes us who we are today, and, a positive outlook,
Absolutely.
Again, it's really hard to say that in your scenario, but you wouldn't be who you are today helping thousands, if not more, of people. It's unfortunate that, the way you had to get there, but I feel like it's in every single scenario, your adversity is what makes you the person you are, and you probably wouldn't take it back for anything.
No, I wouldn't. And that's the thing. Like, I think there's a lot of like trauma survivor pages out there that say the worst thing you can say to a trauma survivor is that they, that they got gifts from it, or that they should, like, there's all these narratives around what you should and shouldn't say. But at the end of the day, that person, if that triggers them, it's because they have further healing to do. Because
I was treading lightly.
Because someone can say that to me and I'm like, 100%. I agree. Like, I think, it's like you probably don't want to have gone through all those things.
Of course.
But like, it's easy for me to say that on the other side, because it's like, well, there's a way through and it's fine. But when someone's like in it, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can't really see it when you're in it. You're like, your brain is not, they just literally can't see it. Their brain is just not even.
Definitely not in that scenario.
No.
Because I always do say being in the adversity and knowing in the time. So if I'm going through something, I know I will look back. It's very hard in this scenario, but that's, to me, is a superpower. Being in a moment, that moment wouldn't be one of them, but being in a moment,
I know what you mean.
Not as intense, and just knowing that it's a beautiful place to be, knowing that, I'm going through shit right now, but this shit is what's going to make me who I need to be, so.
Absolutely. And I've always had that, like, I don't know if it's maybe defined, but I've always had this, like, I remember reading when I first started trying to heal it more specifically. So I'd process, because I was like, I was a very strange child. I was bullied every single day, primary school and high school. So I was like going from abuse at home to bullied at school to abuse at home. And the abuse at home was what was making me strange at school. I didn't have friends, things like that. So I'd worked through lots of those traumas to get up to the point where I could sort of work on the bigger stuff. But I think, yeah, like I just wouldn't take it back. And I think I always had this mindset of, again, one more day, but one more trauma. Just process one more trauma, just one more step. And that's how I sort of like got through. I can't remember what you just said. I had something to say to that, but I've just lost it. But yeah, I think out the other side, it is easy to reflect back, but it is really hard when you're in it.
Is that a common survival mechanism? Like one more day? A lot of people use that?
I don't know, because a lot of people that I find have like that come to me have actually not sort of been down the path. Not that they haven't been down the path I've been down, but I've always had this part that's like, the defiant part. So I was always like, you know, I'm not going to let this beat me. I'm not going to, like, there's got to be a way. And when I first started trying to heal specifically from father-daughter abuse, I was kind of on all these forums and it was like, it's just something you'll have to learn to live with. There's no evidence that you can heal this. And I read Dr. Bessel van der Kolk's book, The Body Keeps the Score, and all of his examples were of father-daughter sexual abuse. And it was like, hardest thing to heal, can't recover. And instead of believing that, I just have always had this part of me that's just like, no, I'll find a way. I will find a way. I'll heal it. I'll fix it. I'll show. I'll prove it. And so it was just this like pure determination of defying what everybody else had said and finding a way to make it happen that sort of got me through. And I don't know where that comes from, because a lot of trauma survivors don't have that. They have the victim mentality and they have, why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? Everything gets worse. And they're down that. Whereas I'd have a little bit of that and then I'd have this part of me that's like, nope, we're going to fix it. We're going to work it out. So, and I've always had that since I was really young. So
do you have a connection with God, whatever that may be to you?
Yeah, well, I feel like I don't have like I sometimes say God or universe or creator or whatever. But I have always had this feeling that there is something greater, but that we're all a part of that something greater as well. So I've always had this feeling of, even from a really young age, I remember thinking anything is possible. Like people say that you can't do this or you can't do that, but I think anything is possible. And I think that's probably, I don't know where those thoughts came from, but I've always had that feeling that there's something more and that there's a greater reason and something bigger. And for me, like learning about quantum physics and the field and stuff sort of helped me to understand that more. Yeah.
Does speaking about the trauma help with the healing?
It
they're not correlated?
did. Yeah. I think like speaking about it like publicly was a little bit scary. So when I first spoke about it, I thought I was ready. And then like I had a complete like lowest of low in my life, like a complete nervous breakdown, because my dad had told me so many times that he would kill me. They'd tortured me. As soon as I spoke up publicly, something just clicked in my brain and I was like, he's going to come for me. I'm dead. And every single car that drove past my house, I didn't leave the house for months. And every car that drove past, my heart would drop into my stomach. I'd shake and I was like, oh, it's him. He's coming. And I got so stressed to the point where I started to have hallucinations. I started to hear his voice coming. Like I heard the front door like in my ears. And I thought, I'm actually losing my mind. I'm going crazy, because I'd realized he wasn't there after I'd run into the backyard. And then I went and, I spoke to my mum, and mum's like, it's stress induced and it sounds like auditory hallucinations. You're having a nervous breakdown. You need to stop seeing clients. You need to focus on yourself and heal and chill. So, because I was always working through, I was just like, I'm not going to stop and sit in this. I'm going to heal it and work, which was the worst thing. But
yeah. Is your father still alive?
He is alive. Yep. He's alive and he's out there.
Okay. And what was, when you were 30, how did that go down?
Oh, that was a bad day. That was a really bad day. I told my brother and sister first, because I'm very close with them, and I didn't know how they were going to take it, because they both had him in their life too. So that was really scary.
So did they know what had happened to you?
They didn't know. So I sat them down individually and told them. And my sister, before I even told my sister, like I kind of said some like sexual abuse happened when I was younger and I just want to tell you. And she's like, it was Dad, wasn't it? So she knew straight away.
How?
She
Just-
because it
did
happened
she-
to her too, but she just didn't.
She didn't tell
She
you at
hasn't
that point?
remembered yet, but she has. When she was younger and she was drunk, she would cry and say, my dad raped me. And then in the morning be like, oh, I don't know why I said that. And she's repressed it.
Has she opened up yet? Or
She's trying really hard.
Oh,
She's about to do some like specific therapies.
Yeah,
She's
okay.
been doing lots of therapy though, but she's got a lot of the same symptoms as I had of sexual trauma and like really common symptoms, but she just can't like she was the sort of kid that like she would stare out the window and my mum would think she was dead, like she wouldn't be moving, like she's really dissociated.
monotone, yeah.
So she but my brother came forward after I told my brother a few months later. He said, this is really hard to say, but Dad did that to me too.
Oh my God.
And then when I spoke publicly, a cousin of mine who lives in Queensland said, your dad raped me when I was 9 and it was the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And she's had paralysis and like all sorts of health issues ever since. It's ruined her life.
Oh my God. Is he in jail?
No. So the three of us got together to go like do a court case and we took it to the police and the police actually said, yep, you've got a case, we'll take it on, and because they can either say we'll take it or no, you need to get your own lawyer.
Yeah.
And they said they'd take it on and then we went through 6 months of statements and all the things, and then I'd left my ex-husband and I was living alone not that far away from him, and the officer just said to me, I just don't know if this is a smart move for you. And I was like, can I get like some protection? Or for reference, my dad is like a really bad man. That's what makes speaking up even scarier. He's like bad to the bone. He's got good connections and he's just not the sort of person that you want to mess with. So the police officer was kind of like, it's at your own risk. You've got 2 kids to think about. This might be, you know, it's up to you. We can totally do it, but it is a risk.
And
so,
you chose not to?
And I just thought, you know what? I've been speaking for a few years. He knows what I'm saying. I know who he is. He'd be listening to everything I do.
Yeah.
He hasn't come for me yet. He's obviously okay with me speaking my story and not naming him, but the threat of potentially taking him, of him going to jail, I don't know how it didn't feel good.
Yeah.
And so for me, I had to really sit with, okay, what does justice look like? And what does justice feel like? And if I can heal it to the point where it no longer affects me and I can speak about it publicly, and then now I help women, and the women that come into the clinic, a lot of them are father-daughter sexual abuse from around the world. So I'm able to help women all around the world by continuing to speak and educate and teach. So for me, that was like, okay, that feels like the safest option. Definitely it would be nice to do that. But also in Australia, the statistics are, and the psychologist I had spoken to about it said that it's a roughly 6-year court case.
Wow.
Historic cases are really hard to prove because it's word against word. And even if there's 3 people, they treat it as 3 individual cases against one person. And yeah, unless you have evidence, times, dates, things like that, it's just your word against theirs. And the conviction that they get is normally around 2 years. And I was like, I'm not going to waste 6 years of my life afraid, being dragged through court, afraid that he's going to come for me to maybe get a 2-year sentence. Unless if it was like life, absolutely, I would have tried. But yeah,
I think God's pushed you into that direction for a reason, because if you're relying on the justice system for your own healing, then you're never going to get it. So it's no point. Like there's nothing in dealing with the court cases, getting me into jail. It doesn't change your life.
No.
You know, you might feel a bit safer, but you're not necessarily any safer. So it doesn't matter.
And I don't feel unsafe now. Like I feel like it's been like 6 years of speaking, and you know,
he's been through his own traumas and he's passed it on. So may God bless him and help him go through what he's gone through, you know, like.
Yeah, I often I did a podcast where I spoke directly to him and just said, like, I know you're probably listening to this, and said what I wanted to say to him, which was also really healing, and said, I think I would love it if you could go and heal and, you know, actually process what you've done and come back and accept it. And, you know, we would like encourage you to do that. And there's no feeling of hate or rage towards him anymore. And that kind of played a part in it as well. It was like, And some people say to me, oh, he's out there in the world, he could be hurting other people. And I maybe sounds a little bit harsh, but I was like, what he does to other people isn't my responsibility. I spent 30 years recovering from what he did to me. I'm probably going to live my life the way I want to do it.
Yeah, that's it. He was just a product of his own environment. Like,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And it could be the opposite. He could be watching this and like weeping, crying. And
do you know, I actually have this feeling, like I get this feeling every now and then, like he's proud, which sounds weird, but I get this feeling every now and then of like, I think he would be watching this because there was moments, glimmers where he was a normal, good dad. And I feel like that part of him would be like, look at her go. Like she's not scared. So I actually do feel like there would be that small part of him. And then I think he would have a split personality. There'd be another part that's not with it. But
makes sense.
He had good parts. And that's actually something that people don't like to hear. A lot of people want to just say he's evil and he should, the comments on social media is like, he should be skinned alive, he should be boiled, he should be hung, he should be all these things. And I'm like, he should heal.
Yeah, he definitely just needs.
I love your perspective.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful. It's very refreshing.
Thanks.
It's really nice to talk.
And I mean, evil people aren't evil all the time. Like it's like it could have been they're the moments that he was struggling the most.
Absolutely. And he wasn't evil all the time. Like I said, he would he loved bushwalking. He loved getting outside. He would take us on bushwalks and explore new tracks. And he would make pancakes on Sunday morning. He'd do campfires in the backyard. Like there were moments and good memories and he was a really protective dad too, which is kind of ironic, but he was like, there was good elements to him.
Yeah.
And you could see the good part of him trying to come out, but he just had so much trauma that it was just, yeah.
So when you were 30, I'll go back to that. What was the
tangent.
Tangent. It's so many interesting things here.
Yeah. So I told my brother and sister.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we don't want him in our lives either. He's always made us uncomfortable and, we're going to cut him out too. So basically I knew that I was at that point still quite connected to him, if you will. Like I knew it was going to be hard. And I knew that I couldn't do it to his face or over the phone because as soon as I heard his voice, I would break. So I sent him a message and I texted him and said, because of everything that you did to me throughout childhood, I no longer want a relationship with you. And within like 4 seconds, he called me and I immediately had a panic attack. He sent a message saying, I know where you are. I'm coming to talk to you. No idea how he knew where I was. I was at my mum's at the time. And yeah, I just had a complete panic attack and I was like, he's going to kill me. He's going to kill me. I just want to die. I can't do this. And just went into a complete panic. And then the months after that was just so much grief. It was like this crazy feeling of like, I'm so terrified of him. Is he going to come for me? And then the next minute I miss him and I'm crying and I'm like, I just want my dad. It's like I felt like I wanted to run to him to protect me. But the person he needed to protect me from was himself. Wow. It was the craziest feeling. And that was when those two personalities of mine were really fighting each other of like, we need him, we're scared of him, we need him, we're scared of him. And it was such a long process of just, of grieving him. It felt like he died because all those good memories that I had of him didn't feel real anymore. It felt like at the time I was trying to figure out who he was and like, is he good dad or is he bad dad? And he really shot himself in the foot. Like after he got that message, I started getting calls and messages from relatives saying, your dad told us that you made up these stories of him sexually abusing you. And I was like, no, I didn't say that. I said, I remember everything you did to me. So he kind of, I showed them the message and and then after that, he tried for a couple of months. He would send big, long messages saying, I think you need help. Something's wrong with you. You're crazy. You're making this up. I'll do a lie detector test.
Was he drinking?
I honestly don't know. Like he was when we were younger. But
do you think that maybe he has a bit of a blur memory of things?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think he knows. He knew. He was really
sounds like he's
down.
living in denial.
Because there was also this day a couple of years before that, randomly, where I was kicking the footy with my son. We were like, 'cause we used to meet him like I never left him alone with my kids, thank God. But I used to meet him like at ovals or just like outside in places and kick the footy and then take the kids. And he just like came over to me and was like, I'm so sorry. And he had tears in his eyes. I'm so sorry for everything that I did to you.
How old were you at this point?
Like 28. It was like 2 years before.
So 8 years before the last time he did it.
Yeah, but 2 years before
2
I
years
sort of
before,
like
Yeah.
cut him
okay.
out and remembered it because I had repressed a lot of this too.
Yeah.
That's probably the most like wild part of it is I'd split it into my personalities and forgot so I could manage a relationship with him. I'd have flashbacks and I'd see these like horrific things, but I'd developed a way to cope with it where I would blink really hard and I would say, you're disgusting for thinking about that. And I'd push it down and then I'd go about the rest of my day in a shaky panic, but with able to push it down and forget about it. So when he'd said to me, I'm so sorry for everything I'd done to you, I was like, oh, don't talk about that. Just, it's fine. Just, it's all good. Don't worry about it. So I sort of like had remembered that as well and knew that there was that
That would help with the
that
healing.
part of him a little bit. Yeah, because it was like he actually did, he knew, but he did have some remorse. He'll never admit it.
Yeah.
Because he just won't.
Of course.
Because that would be so, you know, I can imagine the level of shame that he would feel to admit to it. But yeah.
I think even it'd be traumatic for him doing that as well. Like that would play on him, like the guilt, the shame. He'd be experiencing like some negative, you know, emotions day to day because of what he's done. Not just his trauma, but I think even
and then what
him
he's
creating
done.
that trauma is just as traumatic.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's your child and there would be a human part of you that thinks like, I even get that if I like raise my voice slightly at my at my voice, I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, what? It's fine. You didn't say anything. Like, but I think you get that. You're protective and you want to help them. And yeah, I think there would be definitely a part of him that would be ashamed of that. So, and him apologizing that day showed me that he did sort of feel some remorse. But then in saying that, this is where that split comes into play. When I was really pregnant with my first son, so I would have been 25 at the time, he got really drunk at a Christmas party and asked me to pick him up. And when I picked him up, he was drunk in the car and he was trying to reach over and touch my leg and touch me when I was pregnant. So like, and this is many years later. So
when he was drunk.
He was drunk. And so obviously this part, this traumatized, tortured part comes back out. But when he was sober, kicking the footy 2 years later, he was sorry. So it's
Do you think there was ever a time that he did it when he was sober? The reason I asked, there was an interesting thing that I heard, and it was talking about alcohol in the Arab, when it's said in Arabic, it's alcohol something else. It's like it's alcohol, but it actually apparently it draws bad spirits to you.
I've heard something about this.
So
yeah.
do you think alcohol played a part?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like your ability to control your urges and your ability to control whatever trauma you're holding down is probably let go.
Yeah.
And so like the spirits would be his own past.
Yeah.
Coming up. And I think that like I read somewhere that actually there's like parts of the brain, like the part of the brain that is responsible for empathy and connection actually shuts down when someone's abusing somebody. So,
wow.
You know, whether alcohol, I don't know the research on that, but whether alcohol plays a part into like shutting down a part of the brain that then clicks them. I could see him change. Like I could know when I would get to his house or when he would look at me when it was going to happen because his eyes would change. His eyes would go dark and it felt like soulless almost, but I could tell from looking at him there was something, he shifted.
That energetically something was going to happen.
Yeah. But in his eyes, like you can tell. And there is like some research now on what happens to their brain when their eyes go like that.
Wow. What's the research?
Basically that certain parts of their brain that are responsible for connection and empathy are shut down. And it was something to do with, it's about power and dominance, but it's like a survival. They're basically, until they've completed whatever it is that they feel they need to do in order to dominate or survive, then they go back to normal. And then afterwards is the like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that, like the repair. But when they're in it, they don't know that they're in it. And it's almost like, it said something like the part of their brain that attaches like to connection. So to go, that's my daughter, but also to their own personality and who they are. So it's like they're not them.
Obviously, you've experienced trauma, you work in it, your whole life is sort of revolved around it, healing people, all this stuff. And you're saying you studied the quantum physics. How do they integrate? Like, what's your knowledge on, just to pick your brain on a bit of quantum physics?
Yes, this is what was kind of like started at in the beginning and then like went away. What I've been thinking about lately is like it literally feels like I went back into the past and changed the past, because the version of me that I used to perceive myself as, when I would think about that little girl and what she would go through and who she was and the way that I would think about her, is so different to the way that I feel about her now, that it almost feels like I'm living a different life. It almost feels like that butterfly effect, like sliding doors. Like it's almost like I went back in.
What is the butterfly effect?
You know that movie that with Ashton Kutcher, like the butterfly effect, where like he goes,
change one thing.
If you change one thing, he goes back into the past, and it's like if you change one thing, it's like kind of crazy because it's like they change not things that don't really mean anything, but you change one thing and then you wake up in a different in a different
effect.
present.
Yeah.
So
makes
like,
sense.
have you ever watched Bedazzled?
No.
Oh,
Sorry.
Well, there's movies that like basically they go back into the past and they change one thing in the past, and then they wake up and they've got like a different wife, or their kids look
everything
different, or
changes.
like
Is that a 90s movie?
yeah,
I think I have. Like,
it's like got Brendan Fraser in it. Yeah, but they're both 90s movies.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, like the idea is that you go back and if you change something in the past, you wake up in the present and your life is completely different because of the effect of if that one thing hadn't have happened. And we've all had those moments where it's like, oh my gosh, if I hadn't have gotten on that train that day, or if I hadn't have gone to that pub, I wouldn't have met my wife and I wouldn't be, those sorts of things. But I actually feel like, and have been thinking, if I'm tapping into the quantum field when I'm going into a session and I'm going back and I'm visualizing and I feel like I'm back there in the past and I can see this girl and I can feel what she's feeling. And I say to her things that I wanted her to hear in that moment. And I take her out of there and I like see her leaving that house and I'm taking her to a safe house and she's laughing and playing and having fun. And I'm telling her she's beautiful and great and everything's okay. And then 2 days later, I look back at that memory and think she's okay. Did I actually change the past, or did I just change my perception of the past? But I really have started to feel like, did I actually go back and change that moment? Because who I am today is a reflection of that girl that I saved, not the wounded one. So who I am now is because I've healed all of those things. I've become the version of me that's healed, and everything that I've changed in her and implanted in her is who I've become. So
Quantum leaping.
Quantum leaping,
would be a quantum leap. I guess that would be.
Yeah, where it's basically making a change in the past and it's affecting the present. But, I understand how that can work in your brain, but I just lately have been thinking like, I wonder if there is that effect of, they're saying now that change a particle, manipulate a particle in the present and it manipulates the past. Is that what's
basically
happening?
You're a time traveler.
I'm basically traveled back in time. My partner said to me, wait, so are you kind of like lying now when you tell your story? Because if you changed it in the past, it didn't really happen. And I was like, oh yeah, I should just be like, don't have any trauma. Life has been great. So it is like a bit of a, it's a hard one to explain, but that's what it feels like. It feels like I changed her and it's changed me. And it is always like 2 days later that you wake up and you think, oh, I'm different. I speak different. Like if you had have met me 10 years ago, I was a completely different person. And so like all of those shifts and changes and everything that I wanted to experience, I implanted in my subconscious, because our subconscious is what's going to take. Like we're going to take whatever we believe and that's going to become our reality. And the medium is the field. So like if your subconscious beliefs are I'm strong and I'm powerful, you're going to experience and project that and see that in the world. Whereas if your beliefs are I'm weak and pathetic and nothing good ever happens to me, that's going to be carried through, and that's what's going to be what you perceive, because your brain's whole job is to take what you believe and create that reality. So as I changed those beliefs, I would wake up and see a different truth and feel a different truth and show up different.
So obviously changing those beliefs. So saying I am abundant and believing it are two different things. How did you?
You could say it 10,000 times and not believe it.
What was the strongest hold that helped you believe that?
Yeah. So that's where, in order to actually shift a subconscious belief, yes, you have to go into a theta brainwave, right? You have to do it in the subconscious. So if I say it out loud, I'm saying it out loud, but it's not implanting into my subconscious. I have to be in a specific brainwave, which, if you think about it, the reason that children's beliefs are created from 0 to 7 is because children live completely in a theta brainwave for that first 7 years. So we've basically got to go back to that state in order to access the subconscious. So we're like accessing these first 7 years or this state to go, I don't want to believe this and I don't want to believe that. So the step one is getting into the theta brainwave first and identifying what the belief is, and then releasing it from there. So that's where that, like, those steps of visualizing it, of knowing it, I get my clients to cross it out and send it up, and I witness it on their behalf. Because if we think about, I don't know if you've in quantum physics ever heard of the observer effect. So particles behave differently when they're observed. So once I learned about that, I was like, is it going to be more powerful if I observe the belief leaving them rather than them just doing it themselves? Because I'd had healings where they get me to do it myself. So I was like, I wonder. So I started practicing it with clients, and I would observe it leaving them as well. And when I observed it, it worked every time.
Wow.
So the thing here, though, that people miss is that if I just even go into the theta brainwave and I shift the belief of I'm worthless, and I replace it with I'm worthy, and I feel worthy, and I say I'm worthy, and I visualize it coming in, I do all the things. If I still have evidence that I'm worthless, like moments and memories where I felt the feeling of worthlessness and someone told it to me and I haven't processed those memories, the belief will just come back. You can't override evidence. So we have to make it so that there's no evidence, which is the time travel, which is where we've got to, no, but that's where we've got to, like, go back and process and close off the memories and tell that little girl, you're not worthless. You're so worthy. You were born worthy. You've always been worthy. I'm going to take you. And, I've done healings where similar histories to myself where they didn't have any friends. And I've been like, come with me. I'm going to show you who your future friends are going to be, and introduce them to all my girlfriends now. And they're like, oh, she's so cute and we love her. And she feels loved and accepted by them. So I show her what's coming. Things like that. Then after that, you process that, you shift the belief. That's like magic. But you have to find where it was created, because if you shift it just without finding the source, it does come back.
Do you need to take someone through all the memories that might make them feel worthless?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it depends how much it affected them. Sometimes we often go into the first memory or the biggest memory, like the memory that they have where they're like, that one really sticks with me. It feels bigger than the others. Sometimes when we heal that big one or that first one, the others just sort of, it doesn't matter. They sort of go with it. But sometimes a few of them might, but there might be one that sticks around. And often what it means is when that one sticks around, it's because there was another belief that was created or the feeling was slightly different. So it might have been that they also felt worthless then, but they felt really alone and they didn't feel alone in the other one. So there's another belief there that's kind of holding that memory.
And then how do you unpick that out of them? Like, how are they meant to know that there's another memory that's holding them back?
They don't know. That's why you have someone do it for you. Because I will be like, I'll know, I'll feel it. I'm connected to them. And I'll be asking them, like, how did that make you feel? And what did you want to do? And they'll say, I felt really alone in that one. And they'll tell you. And they don't know that they'll tell you, because if I said to you right now, how did you feel in this moment? You might be like, oh yeah, it wasn't very good, et cetera, et cetera. And then I could put you into the theta brain if you could close down your eyes, and I could take you back into it, and you would have these emotions come up, and you would have, a lot of people describe it as like they'll say things and then afterwards they'll say, I didn't even know that I thought that or felt that, because you're in an altered state. And so the truth comes out. It's not the truth as what your subconscious is telling you should say. It's like the real truth. And that's what you access when you go in there. So a lot of people will just tell you everything and they don't even know that they're giving you all the answers and you're just like, okay, cool. But it comes out in that questioning process, and I've got questions and ways that I can sort of dig deeper into to uncover what it is that they're struggling with. And yeah.
I think it's incredible that like I've met a few healers like across my journey, and each person sort of has their own unique way of taking someone into the theta state.
Yeah.
And it's very rare as well. Like it's a rare thing to find someone with this skill that you have, like the ability to take people into that brainwave, get them to re-experience the trauma or whatever it is, and then being able to come out of it with,
a result.
It's crazy.
A lot of people say as well, like, don't go back into the memories. I don't know if you've heard that, but a lot of somatic therapists will say, don't go back into the memories. You don't need to go back into the memories. You don't need to process the memories in order to heal. That's like a big thing that's been spread around the industry as well. But yeah.
Can we spend the next couple minutes and can you show us what you do to get people into theta?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, can I?
What was the hesitation?
Just that it's taken me so long to come up with the method of getting people in deep. Like that's part of like what I teach people.
Let's not.
Yeah, there's like
that's fair.
Like so, like hypnosis, for instance, there's like a script that you follow, and what I find, but I feel bad gatekeeping too. I'm I kind of want to.
It's fine.
But there's like hypnosis, for instance, there's like a script that you read, and so many people would come to me and be like, I can't be hypnotized. I can't go in. Like I'm really hard to put into hypnosis. I can't go into the theta brainwave. And everyone that says it to me, I'm like, okay, let's see. And I can get every single person in because I would figure out ways, like if someone was fighting it, a way that I could. And that's the thing as well. It's personalized. So if I notice that you're not going in, I'll change my approach halfway, and you won't know that I'm doing it, but I'll be like, and now visualize this, and now do this.
Can we do it and we will edit it out? Is it more you don't want to show us, or you don't want it to be?
No, it was just more like the world. Yeah.
The world. Okay, so if we edit it out, do you trust us to edit it out?
No, I can totally tell you. Yeah, I can tell you.
All right.
It's
we promise to edit it out.
It's just more
off air.
Well, we can do that.
I can do it at the end.
Yeah,
I'll teach
perfect.
you at the end.
Let's do that.
I'll do it at the end.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
I'll give you my tricks.
I more just want to feel it.
Yeah, I can totally do that.
All right.
I seen a guy like many years ago, probably about 10 years ago, maybe less. And I didn't really know what I was going into at the time, but he got me to access it through breath, like this really deep gasp of air back and forth, laying down. And then he'd start like pressing on certain points on my body, and it just like, it felt like he was opening up a wormhole. I'd like start screaming, and then you just like, that was his method of getting into it. And then he ended up passing away. And I used to send a lot of people to him. And I used to wonder like, man, didn't this guy teach his way onto anyone else? And he didn't.
Yeah.
But then now talking to you, you've got your own method. That's why I said like it's amazing.
It's cool I know.
Because it's a similar thing. It's like you're taking them back, they relive the experience, and then you just, depending what the trauma is, there's obviously different things, but
different ways that you take.
Yeah, different ways that you take, but being able to, allow someone to experience the trauma and then come out of it differently through that theta state is essentially what it is, because that would have been the same thing that he put me in back then.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting. It'd be so cool because there's so many people that just don't know where to go, don't know what to do. So this is amazing. Like it's amazing to meet you and be able to now, share your skill with.
There is a lot of people that don't, and that's the sad thing is like they don't realize that there are things that they can try and that they can work. I always welcome the skeptics because I was a skeptic. I was like I was very logical when I got into everything.
If there's people listening out there and they have some deep traumas, what would be your advice to them?
My advice is always to go into it, because I think a lot of people who say to me like, I'm too afraid to go into it. I don't want to go into it. What if it makes it worse? And a lot of the times I'm like, could it actually get worse than it is right now? Because it often can't. And I normally say to them, just once, like just give us one shot at one memory. And if it's not processed, then you don't have to come back, but just try it. Just try it once, because you unconsciously relive the trauma pretty much every day if you don't process it anyway. So it's like go into it once or continue to re-experience it through triggers, through emotional body flashbacks, through implicit memory, through like they're re-experiencing it, whether it's not, it doesn't have to be visually, but it could be that their body's going into a panic every day when they wake up with anxiety. So,
and a lot of people have coping mechanisms, you know, like for some people it might be even just scrolling on TikTok.
yeah.
And that's their coping mechanism, and they're doing that all day. Or there's multiple, you know, coping mechanisms as well. But
Absolutely.
when it's unresolved, sometimes they think they're okay, but they're just sitting there with bad unconscious behaviors.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be good too, though. Sometimes it drives people to some people drive it into work or, you know, whatever it is. But then when you get to the point of retirement or slowing down from work, that's when it starts to, when it starts to, you know, and then you now find yourself always having to do something to distract yourself from the thing that you've suppressed. And that's another thing a lot of people don't talk about. Like most people who have been sexually abused won't be open about it and won't talk about it. So, and it's way more common than we think, isn't it?
It's like in Australia at the moment as well. Like it's 1 in 3 girls, 1 in 5 boys.
Is that ones that have spoken about it, or
that's
are they accounting for?
That's reported cases. That's reported.
Yeah,
so
wow.
there's so many unreported, and then there's also they say that like the 1 in 5 boys isn't even, that would not be
1
true.
in 3.
1 in 3 girls, 1 in 5 boys, but they said that the boys is only because boys are less likely to report. It's probably actually just on par. But it's
what's the
But
problem?
even girls, a lot of
messed
girls
up.
wouldn't talk
What's the
about it
problem?
too.
I'm not in the world of this happening, but like, where are we going so far wrong? Like, why?
Because it's not spoken about. It's
too.
always been a thing, but it's also not spoken about. And 90% of that is, or over 90% is family. It's not strangers, it's family, like people within the family. And it's
so strange.
It's just the whole cycle of shame.
Yeah.
You think it's your fault. You don't want to speak about it. You don't want to speak
makes
about it because
sense.
you think it's your fault, and then they end up, it just.
And there's the embarrassment, shame.
And it's something about sexual trauma that just, I think, like, it just makes people so uncomfortable. And I think it's the confusion aspect too. I think you can sort of as a child be like, oh, okay, my parents really angry and they're yelling, even hitting. It's obviously abuse and it's not good, but sexual adds this layer of like, especially when you're a child, you're like, what is this? What this feels wrong, but right, but gross, but nice. But it's like this, it's really a confusion. And I think trauma, one of the recipes, if you will, that makes a trauma is heightened emotion, like emotion that you can't process, and a level of confusion around what's happening. So, and that if you don't have anyone to go to speak to and to unpack it, then you carry it. And so I think because sexual trauma is so confusing to children because they can't understand it, it's why it gets carried on as trauma.
This might sound terrible, but it's like something that's just like coming to my mind.
I can't wait.
If by healing it and resolving it, then you kind of live a normal life, yeah?
Yeah.
Then did it never matter in the first place, but no one was there to guide through the younger years where it was affecting?
Oh, you sound like Alex Hormozy. I posted a clip of this the other day.
Does that make sense?
Alex
Because technically, if you healed at 20, then it would have you would have lived a normal life from 20, and then it's like technically wouldn't have been such a
I get what
traumatic
you're saying.
thing.
Yeah, if you could heal it where it happens, like for instance, I've been talking to a lady at the moment about a workshop for parents where if a child discloses, what parents could do to help the child to process it, to make it less traumatic so that it doesn't affect them for the rest of their lives. I guess it still makes it wrong for the person that's doing it. The person that heals it, maybe they're not affected because they put in the hard work to heal it. But the person that did it still needs to heal because they could probably do it to other people.
So what makes it, again, this is probably the same line of like, going to sound weird, but what makes it need healing? Like what if, because we are just like, we've just come into this world and there is a certain right or wrong, but we just come in and like, we don't really know anything. What if everyone was brought up
that
and
way?
That was abuse, like it wasn't called abuse. Everyone was brought up in a way where that was normal. that's just what we do.
Well,
would it then be a trauma because everyone else is doing it too?
Yeah, this is kind of what Hermosi's point was.
Yeah.
And I guess the response to that was like, if we went back in time, like slavery was normal. Do you think slavery was right?
No, obviously not.
Yeah, but like if we went back,
point.
if we went back and said slavery was normal to them, who were being like beaten and punished, do you reckon it would feel if we told them it was normal? Do you think that they'd be like, oh, yeah, right, this isn't traumatic anymore? Like, let's just chain me up, let's go. Like they probably would still feel.
That's a good way to put it.
It's about the feeling. It's about the body. It's about what happens to your body. And when somebody invades your body, there's a level
it's definitely not right.
When someone invades your body or your space or takes away your power or, that's like slavery. When someone takes that from you, like your ability to say no, your ability for your body to be yours, when someone invades that, something happens to you. And what happens to you is if you can't fight or you can't run, which as children, you've got to weigh up your options. You probably can't fight or run away from the adult. You got to escape.
Yeah.
And you can only escape using your mind. So we dissociate and we leave our bodies. That's a way that we cope, but it also then causes issues later on in life where we can't connect to our bodies, where we're checked out, we're numb, we're scrolling, and we can't process what's actually happening because we're not in our bodies. So then it gets carried on. So it's not so much a perception problem. The body responds. And the body actually responds without the mind really having much control. So even if people said it was normal and it became like a normal narrative, for instance, and like the perception around it was that it's normal and everyone's like, that's not a bad thing, like that's supposed to happen or whatever. If the body felt confused and the body didn't know, the body would still respond, dissociate, disconnect, and it would still be stored as a confusing, traumatic, open memory.
So what's Alex Hormozi saying about it? Like, what's his take?
It's so funny because I just saw the clip and posted it.
Oh, wow.
He said if what was his quote? He said that if a 15-year-old girl has sex with a 40-year-old man, now it's wrong. But if you rewind 200 years ago, 15-year-old girl has sex with a 40-year-old man, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not trauma. How is it trauma then, but it's trauma now? And the response to that was slavery was normal 200 years ago. It was normal then. It's not normal now. Still traumatic. And so, and a lot of people were saying, were you a 15-year-old girl 200 years ago? And did you? Which is like a fair point. But so I think it's not so much. There is a perception part to it. So I get what you're saying, because if you perceive something as extremely traumatic, it's going to feel extremely traumatic. But on the reverse of that, if something feels extremely traumatic, you're going to perceive it as extremely traumatic because it felt that way. So it really is about what's happening in the body.
You mentioned before that you got Lyme's disease. Has the healing journey helped that at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I feel like I haven't had any Lyme symptoms for a long time. So I did like a pretty extensive fasting regime as well.
How many days?
So I did 70-day cleanse.
70-day cleanse.
70 days. So I eased into it. I did like juice fast for 2 weeks, and then I did 14 days of just water.
Wow.
And then came off it with another couple of weeks of juice.
That's insane.
So good.
Yeah.
How'd you feel fasting?
I was like,
I
lost a lot
Coming
of weight.
out of it?
I lost a lot of weight throughout it.
Yeah.
Like I was very skinny, but coming out of it, it was hard to eat foods again. I felt like a baby. I felt like I couldn't digest anything. So it was hard to like build my body back up to eating normal foods again.
Yeah.
But yeah, off the back of it, like
how long ago was this?
Nearly 6 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell us if you like the worst day and the best day?
Of fasting?
Or like the moments? Because there would have been some highs and there would have been some
The best day was
moments.
when I had my first juice after the water, because just like the taste of something that wasn't water was insane. And you taste every flavor.
Yeah.
Like you just you don't realize how amazing fruit is until you eat nothing. And then you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
I think I had watermelon juice and what's that? What did you say?
Or if you're high.
Yeah.
Fruit tastes so good.
Yeah, literally. Sounded
Oh
so
my God.
high. But yeah, literally. His eye. Worst, best, and one of the best days.
Yeah,
This is so too much information, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Like towards the end, I was on like day 12 and I was like, because I had to do enemas as well. I was like, there's nothing coming out of me. Like I haven't eaten a solid in like 4 weeks at this point. There's nothing left. And on like day 12, I did this enema and these huge black lumps came out. And it was so satisfying.
I did a 15-day water fast like 2 months ago, and on day 11, I was doing castor oil on my belly button with packs, and it did the same thing. Like it helped my digestive system. Like on day 12, I was like doing bowel movements. I was like, what the hell? Like,
yeah, it's
like
wild.
how long has that been in there for? It's insane.
Yeah. And people say like enemas is just all of the food that you've eaten recently, but that was like weeks in, and it was old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But I also did a liver gallbladder cleanse right before I started the fast, and like got rid of like heaps of gallstones. Like I had like literally could see the gallstones in the toilet.
Crazy.
It was wild. Whole body detox.
I think that stuff coming out like after all those days, because your body's using up all the excess stuff to burn energy. And there's stuff that it can't burn. So there's like a residue that would like go into your digestive system and it gets out that way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that the body's burning throughout those like the 12 days.
Yeah.
It's sick. That's
So
70 days is a long time.
Yeah, it was big. But
And have you, so nothing since that? That's
no, every
I can't
year
think
I
of a
do
better
like
way
a
to
little
heal.
fast.
Yeah.
But also this was off the back of that fast was me sort of remembering, because again, cleared my channel, was me remembering some of those worst things that my dad did to me, and it's catapulted me into processing a lot of those traumatic memories. So it kind of like got me cleared out and ready, and then I went through that, and
I feel like spiritually after my 15-day fast, it changed me forever. Like, and that was only 15 days. I can't imagine what
because
it would have done for you.
I feel like you realize how much control, I don't know, like how much control you have and how much your body can handle, but also how much, I feel like a lot of our, like I know especially a lot of women that I work with, a lot of their coping mechanisms are food. And so when you can't reach for food or drink or whatever, and I was like trying to detox from everything. So I was only like reading books and studying, and I was trying to be off social media and trying not to watch any like shows that they were cooking or had food. But when you do that, I feel like there's a level of
Control over oneself.
realizing how much you use food as well when you're bored, when you don't want to feel an emotion. So there was a level of like spiritual, emotional detox as well.
100%.
Emotions that, I can't do this. Yes, I can. Like fighting with yourself, and resilience too, realizing how strong you are to get
100%.
through. Everyone goes, I could never do that. I can't go one day without eating.
Yeah.
Probably couldn't.
It builds
Not with that attitude.
It builds a crazy level of discipline, and discipline's the number one form of self-love. So it's insane. It's so good for you. But also we've evolved to be hungry. Like that's how we've evolved. That's how we survived. Like our species, because we were hungry, we went and found food, and that's why we're here today.
Yeah.
So hunger is what's actually
It's
got us
vital.
to this point.
It's
So
important.
it's a crazy thing.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Like it's been amazing. It's been so good to sit with you. You've got like such a vibrant, glowing energy.
Thank you.
For someone like, it's very beautiful.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for having
much.
me.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate your time.
It's a great chat.